Hello friends and welcome back to Enterprise Architecture. In today's episode, I'm absolutely giddy with excitement because we are digging back in on refined power. That's right, we're setting up our solar plant, some hydroelectric power, and maybe some other things if we're lucky and have the time. So let's dive right in. Okay, so to get started here, first I want to set up our power storage. I think 100 will be enough for our solar power to power us during the day and for this to store enough at night. So we're going to add that to our shopping list. All of the ingredients here are relatively tame. I already have production of all of these except for our stators. So let's go and collect up all of those bits. Okay, so there is our mega battery array. It goes all the way back down here. I've got it next to our space elevator and it runs almost all the way to our bio-water production space. So that means we have in total 10,400 megawatts of potential storage here. That's gonna take us a while to completely store, but that will be a large amount and should be enough for our overnight production, I hope. Of course, that's going to be in addition to our bio-water setup, which we're also going to continue to grow. So I'm just going to close this in real quick. I'm not really going to worry too much about the design, but I do want to make it look a little fancy, and at least so that we can remember what's in here. And again, we don't have all of our building things unlocked yet, so I think just some windows and some walls, and that'll make it look nice. I'll also probably go ahead and rotate these around so that the power lines aren't sticking out of the wall. That's not a great look, but I'm not going to worry about it for now because the priority is to just get this built. So that's built, we're good, tick that one off the list. Okay, so next up is solar panels. Now, we're gonna need a lot of these. I'm gonna start with 100 and see how far we get because it's really expensive to make these and I can only carry so much stuff in my inventory at a time. So for right now, 100 is what we're gonna do. Okay, so we have all of our ingredients now for our solar panels, but where to put them? I think at this point, I'm not going to build anything taller than my tin factory here. I don't expect to build up any more above this. So I think starting with that as my top point, I should lay the roof all the way across this area. I think that's going to be the easiest way to expand it in an area that it's not going to collide with anything. And I don't need to put anything over top of it that will shadow those panels. So let's climb all the way up there and lay this out. Okay, so here we are on top of the world. Now, the problem that I've just encountered is these solar panels don't actually let me zoop, and they don't let me mass build with smart mod either. So we're gonna have to lay these out manually. Now, normally I use solar roofs for this, but it doesn't look like we have solar roofs in this pack. When I look for customizations, it's not in here for some reason. I'm not sure why that is, because we have tar, metal, and glass here available, but no solar. So I don't really know what to do with this. Maybe it'll let me here? No? No? Still no options here for solar roofs. Okay, so here is our first 100 solar panels. And that's pretty good. Each of those is giving us just under 4 megawatts. So that's an extra 400 megawatts for our overall power production. Now, I'm going to keep increasing this because I do want to make sure that we've got enough for all of our expansion for our next tier of parts. So let me go ahead and boop in the rest of these. Oh, look, so majestic. I didn't realize we had built up this high. There goes the Mega Glider. Be free. Okay, since I just had to lay down a couple hundred of these solar panels, here's some quick tips for laying them out quickly for those of you who are going to be struggling like I am. First and foremost, when you're placing these, you can free place them on a surface for the most part. So holding control quickly will help you lock them into the right place because they will slot next to the layout of the previous one. So that makes it much faster for putting them down. Second, when you're hooking up your power lines, it can be really fidgety to go from one point to the next. So what I usually do is once I have an open connection from my entry point, I'll double click the destination and that'll automatically attach the next line to run. And that works pretty effectively. Sometimes you miss and you end up putting up a power pole, but that works great for both solar cells and your power storage units. So highly recommended. Wait, what is happening? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So I didn't realize I was building in the flight path of the giant manta. So, I guess we'll just get to see the countryside. That's what we're doing now. We're just taking a little trip, a little 3-hour tour. Okay. Right. Actually, this is a great vantage point to see some of these other nodes that I didn't know were here. So it looks like we got some more dirt nodes over here. I'm not entirely sure what those other nodes in that pool are. Looks like more stereotype over here. Okay, good to know. Hey, buddy, if you could just drop me off over at the tin factory, that'd be great. Appreciate that. I'm suddenly reminded of playing Myst, where we get those fly-throughs at the beginning of each level, and oh, nope, wait, this is bad. This is nope, nope, can't go through walls. Okay. Oh, but you can go through walls. All right. Well, I guess I will hike back to the other factory now. Okay. Well, that was a nice little adventure. So the third thing I recommend is placing a wall outlet down at every corner of your solar panel array, on the outside corners at least, because this way you can continue to grow in any direction rather than being beholden to these just running off of the line you're on. So what I mean here is these can only be daisy chained, and what, oh, nope, get out of the way, get out of the way, get out of the way. Here we go. No, we're not going on another ride. So since these solar panels can only be daisy chained, meaning you can only have 2 connections off of each panel, by having the wall outlet on the corner, you can expand in multiple directions if you don't know exactly which way you're going to run these. Most people tend to run these in a zigzag pattern, I think, the way that I'm doing here. And so that way you have future expansion in all directions rather than just the row that you are on. So because these are not solar roofs, and I cannot figure out how to make solar roofs, and the Discord has not had any answers either, you have to put down a foundation underneath these solar panels to place them. Otherwise, you get this invalid aim location. So I am going to have to build out a roof over here. So there does seem to be something wrong with the solar panel models in that you can kind of get stuck in them and it tries to glide you out of them, which means it can shove you off the edge of a building, which has caused me to fall to my nearly doom several times. To avoid this in the future, I'm going to go ahead and unlock the hover pack, which I think will give us a nice ability to coast over top of those issues. Of course, in Satisfactory Plus, you have to first unlock rotor blades, which you get from hydroelectric power to make the pack, which is really obnoxious, but I guess we're going to do that. Now, if you get a shutdown notice like that while you are connecting up a large row of these, that invariably means that you missed a connection between 2 panels somewhere. So just keep an eye on that. Like if you connect things up awkwardly and you accidentally put down a wall outlet somewhere you shouldn't, you'll get a shutdown notice when you try to connect the next one because you clearly missed a connection. Okay, and there we have my finished, or mostly finished, solar array. That's about 500 solar panels right there. I'll probably go back and finish out this row later, but that's going to give me a significant amount of power. And you can see right here, if I zoom in on the power pole, that we are now up to 3,000 megawatts of production. That is a lot, and even our max consumption is all the way down at 2,400. So that should be plenty, except we're not done yet. And here's the next phase of our plan. I've added a second floor of generators using our biofuel. Now, as you may recall from the previous episode, we are generating a lot of bio water all the way over there on that hill back that way. Now that means that we could double up the amount of biofuel that we are producing, the solid biofuel. And so I'm feeding all of that into another row of our heaters and thus into another row of our generators. Now, we can actually double this again from where we are at because we have so much biowater. Now, for our last bit of power that we're going to squeeze out of this episode, we are going to add a bunch of our brand new water turbines all the way up here on the waterfall, which is up here. For those of you all who may have forgotten, there's a bunch of nodes right here we can take advantage of. These also can be daisy chained, and these are not going to give us a lot of power, but it's just going to give us that last little extra bit, just so that we can top off our reserves. Now, I only brought enough rotors to do 6 of these, so I'm going to have to go back so that I can finish off this row. Okay, so there we have it, 42 of our water generators. That is a lot of hydroelectric power, a massive amount, and every single one of those gives us about 50 megawatts if it's sitting properly, so they're about 50 megawatts each. So that means our power production is now all the way up to 6,464, so that is pretty impressive at this point. We are producing a metric ton of power, way, way, way above our consumption, way above our maximum consumption, and that means that we can now build out all the secondary tier factories that we need for all of those other parts. We are ready to go. So there we have it. We have harnessed the power of the sun, we've harnessed the power of the water, we've harvested the power of other water, biowater. The point being that we have harnessed all of these things to radically increase our power production by about threefold. And all of these are clean, renewable sources of energy. Well, except for obviously burning biofuel, but we're not going to talk about that. Most of it is clean, green energy for us to use in our factory construction. And with all of our power online and unlocked, I think this is a good place to stop this episode. Next episode, I think we're going to get started on some of the resource nodes over here, these stereotype, to get a lot more iron. I kept running out of iron during this build, so I think we're going to upgrade our iron factory significantly with both belts and a whole lot more of the nodes from the grasslands, as well as tapping into some of the other nodes around here. And in the near future, we're going to start with construction of all of our more complicated items, all of the things that require 2 ingredients or more, and build that out into this space over in that direction. I think maybe out over the void is probably where we're going to start putting that. But that all has to wait. So, thanks again for watching Enterprise Architecture, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends!